Welcome to the Pearls and Polish podcast. My name is Rachel, and I'm coming to you from just outside Sacramento, California. This is episode 17, so for returning viewers, welcome back. For our new viewers, welcome. This is just kind of where I talk about knitting, life, so thanks for spending a bit of time with me. So today's episode, we're checking in for February. So how's the month been going? How's the month looking for the next couple weeks? So it might be a bit of a shorter episode. For me, I'm going to start off with, I got a really nasty cold fever thing last week and I was very sick. So not a lot of knitting happened, hence the raspy voice and coughing. So I apologize in advance for that. But I did have a couple things that I did want to share with you guys. So let me grab the first thing. So first things first, I finished my Reconstructed shawl. I had every intention of finishing it within the first couple days of the month. Like I said, I got really sick and it just kind of sat until I was feeling better. So I finished it on the 12th. It's been sitting in my bag. I still need to weave in the ends a little bit. I'm woven most of them, but I have a couple that still need to be woven in, and then I need to block it. So once it's blocked, it's going to look so much nicer. But here it is. It is done. So I did want to talk about blocking a bit, since I have this item that has not been blocked yet. So if you're not familiar with blocking, it's the whole idea of like finishing your knit. So once you bind off, you're not done yet. You need to block it. So because we're working with natural fibers, when they get wet, the fiber molecules, they kind of do this and they kind of rearrange themselves. So you can either stretch things out or kind of get things to shrink up a bit. So, as you can see, when I hold this up, this way, it looks a little puckered. It's a little wrinkled, kind of down here. It's not that like nice flat lay that you see in the pictures when you look at a pattern. And that's because it hasn't been blocked. So, I'll show you the back. These are all kind of my ends. So those are all woven in already. I just need to clip them. The last couple ends here on this little gray section, that needs to get woven in. And then my tail, and then I will block. So I'll take a big thing of water, put some wool soap in there and just let it soak. You don't necessarily need soap, but I like to use soap. Once it's kind of really soaked up all the water, you squeeze out as much water as possible and then you stretch it out. So very easy. Probably like the easiest step as far as like knitting, but it's also like the nicest one. That's when you really have a finished item. So like I said, this is done. I just need to block it and then I can start wearing it. So very excited that I was able to finish on time, actually finished early. And yeah, that's done. I will show you. I have everything still here in my bag. Nothing has been put away yet. Notes, I still need to write down on my notes, but this is all that was left of my gray. I had two big cakes of like 150 yards each. No, that's wrong. It was over 200 yards each. There were two huge cakes of yarn that went into this shawl. So, yeah, that is done and I'm so excited. So blocking will probably be next. I think the reason I put it off for so long is because I have a bunch of socks on my blocking mats that I washed and they're dry by now. They've been sitting out for a few days, but it's just I haven't gotten to it yet. So I want to put those away first and then I can block this and be done. So yeah, unfortunately, that's the only finished object. Like I said, I was super sick, but it is finished before this episode, like I promised. So very excited about that. As far as my whips, my works in progress, if you watched last week's episode, you saw that I started 2 pairs of socks for February. So I have my year of socks. So I've got the first sock done for that. So this is the Dionysus colorway by Pasley Knits. And if you're following her on Instagram, which you should, she has been showcasing all of the colorways that she did last year for the Yarn Club for the Gods. And it's all in preparation of a big launch coming out on the 26th. So about 10 days. The entire collection is going to be available for pre-order, including like 3 new colors. So if you've been eyeing these colors, now is the time to jump on it and get your sweater quantities, get all your sock sets. You do not want to wait on this collection. So I'm definitely going to grab the last 3 colors that I'm missing. So the last 3 are Persephone, Hephaestus, and Hades. So I am not breaking my no-buy rule because I did a sweater for Coley at the end of last year, and I get 5 skeins of yarn. So 3 of those are going to be the 3 new colorways, and I haven't figured out what I want to do with my last 2 skeins, but stay tuned for those. Those are going to be exciting. Let me show you how these look a little close up. That'll give you an idea of the colorways. Those colors are amazing. It's got every shade of purple you'd want. It's got little hints of like yellow. It's got some green. So really enjoying working with this colorway. The pattern I'm doing is the Second Breakfast Socks by Sock Witchery. She also did String of Lights. So really nice kind of broken rib stitch, which is very easy to remember. And I feel like it goes by a lot quicker because you're working in like sets of 4. So yeah, these are just going by. So like I said, the first sock is done. So I have my second sock in progress. Here it is. So I got the whole leg done, turned the heel, and finished my decreases. So I am working on the foot of the sock. I'm probably going to get a question with this, so I'm going to answer it ahead of time. What's with the pins? I feel like I've talked about this before, but if I haven't, I use the pins to count rounds. So every 10 rounds, I put a pin. The little fancy one, that is where I start my heel, either where I start my heel flap, or if I'm inserting a heel somewhere, that's kind of where I know where my heel is. And that way, as I am working on my second sock, so I make sure that my socks match exactly, I am taking the pins off of, I don't know if you can see those. I'm taking these pins off as I'm completing 10 rounds and moving it on to this one. So then I know how many rounds I have left. So by looking at my pins, I have 2 purples and lower that. There we go. I've got 2 purples and a red left. So that tells me I have 30 rounds. The green pin is actually 2 stitches up. So I actually have 32 rounds left, and then I start my toe, and then I'm done. So I could reasonably have these done tonight. Just depends how focused I am. If not, they'll definitely be done by tomorrow. And then my socks will be done. So those are February. Let me talk about my other pair of socks that I did. Let me switch these out. Let me grab this one. Okay, so the second pair of socks I started were from my stash, and this colorway, I don't know if you guys can hear that. The neighbor across the street is getting her roof done, so we've got all the roof noises. So my second pair of socks are in progress. So this is the colorway Lake of Shining Waters by Woolberry. And I don't know when this colorway came out. I don't know if it's available anymore, but I got it as a Christmas gift. So happy that I'm working this colorway up because, I mean, look at that. You've got grays and blues and greens and little hints of brown, like a lake of shining water. So this has been kind of a nice palette cleanser, as we say in knitting. So I didn't want to do anything too complicated with this sock, just because the colors are so beautiful. Even though they're all kind of in that same color family, you do get a lot of depth and definition with the colors. So I wanted something that's just going to let the colors be the main focus. So I'm just doing a 3x1 rib sock. I love a simple rib sock. There's just something, the fit is great. It's just relaxing for me. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a simple rib sock. So first sock is done. As you can see, I have a lot more pins on this sock because I've only got the leg done for the second sock. So also, can you see how much stretch there is with a rib sock? I mean, there's a lot of stretch, which I also love. So, like I said, leg is done. I need to start the heel flap and then just go on till the end. I did kind of put these on pause so I can finish my February socks. I did want to kind of get those out of the way, and then we'll just cruise on these. So as I said in my last episode, I wanted to get these done before the 18th because there's a new knit along starting this Saturday. However, I was so sick, I missed like 3 days of knitting, which doesn't sound like a lot, but just kind of timing myself, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to knit 10 rounds. So if kind of at that pace, specifically talking about this, we said how I might have these done tonight. So if it takes me, let's say 30 minutes to do 10 rounds, that means I only have an hour and a half worth of knitting left, plus the toe. So let's say 2 hours. 2 hours and my sock is done. So that's about how much time I have after the kids go to bed to knit. So 3 days, 2 hours, so that's 6 hours worth of work. So I probably would be about halfway done with the foot of this blue sock if I hadn't been sick. It's so frustrating. But you know what? It's fine because nothing bad happens if I don't get these done by Saturday. It was a goal I had set for myself and it was just not possible. Not from lack of trying, but literally I was sleeping all day long. So it's fine. But yeah, these will be done well before the end of the month. If I can get my February socks done today or tomorrow, then I'll have plenty of time to work on my Lake of Shining Water socks, and I may actually get them done like Saturday or Sunday. So we're doing just fine. So let me put those away. And then the knit along, I've talked about it a little bit. It is hosted by Everything Shapes Us on Instagram, and I'll have a link to that in the description. And it's a Scrappy sock knit along. So she's calling it the easy peasy Scrappy sock knit along. But basically you need at least 6 colors, knit a pair of socks. That's it. No other requirements. So it's a month and a half long. So that's a lot of time. Just kind of put in perspective, if I can knit 2 pairs of socks in about 2 weeks, within like 6 weeks, I can knit quite a few socks if those are the only things I'm working on. So I've got plans to knit at least 3 pairs of socks, maybe 4. I still have lots of scraps left over from my Reconstructed shawl that will make beautiful scrappy socks. So I may sneak those in there as well. So the plan, because as we know, plans are made and then they are unmade. I'm gonna cast on a DK weight pair of socks. High desert socks. You guys know I love my high desert socks. I'll cast on a pair of high deserts this Saturday, and just try and get through those as much as possible. And then cast on probably my scrappy socks. So with all my little leftovers, start those on Saturday as well. With the priority of time being put on the high desert socks. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Then that will get me through the end of February. And then for March, I'll do at least one more pair of high deserts and then maybe those shorties. If possible, I'll try and get a third pair of high deserts in because I have a lot of scraps. So dreaming really big, but making realistic plans. Why do I want to have 2 pairs of socks started on Saturday when I'm just finishing 2 pairs of socks? Because I'm going to San Diego. I'm going to go see my sister. She lives down there. And so I'm going to be there for a couple days. So I need a pair of socks that are going to be very easy to work with. So that's going to be the scrappy fingering weight socks. Because those are all kind of contained. All the little scraps are in a little bag. So very easy to just throw in my purse and take with me. Whereas the DK weight socks, the high desert socks, those just have more moving parts. And so I need more time to sit and work on those. So I will definitely be posting pictures on Instagram of my socks that I'm starting and also what we're doing in San Diego. So yeah, keep an eye on that. We've got some restaurants planned to go to, a couple different things we've got planned. So this is our annual sister trip. So keep an eye on Instagram to see what we're up to. That's it for knitting. Like I said, short episode. As far as what I'm reading and what I'm watching, I haven't been watching a lot of shows right now. Mostly I've been reading, which is great. I've been loving it. So I'm on the last season of Vikings. I just started it. The last season I didn't feel was as good as the rest of them. It was fine. There were parts that were really good, and then some parts that just felt like they were just trying to wrap things up. But yeah, last season, we're doing great. As far as books, got a lot of reading done. So I finished The Last Olympian by Riordan. Shortly after I finished the episode 16. And so my youngest had been listening to it with me in the car. So she wanted her own audiobook because I do listen to audiobooks with the kids. So we started the Heroes of Olympus series. So that's just kind of her book that she's listening to with me. I don't know how much she gets, but she says she enjoys it. So we're listening to The Lost Hero. For some reason, Son of Neptune, which is the second book, isn't available on Audible. So we'll probably have to go to the public library and get a copy there so that she can she can hear the second book. And then we'll pick up with Audible again. Other books I finished Chain of Thorns, which is the last book that Cassandra Clare just put out. I think that went really well. I think they kind of wrapped things up nicely. As far as her Shadowhunter universe, I think the Will, Tessa, Jem storyline is my favorite of that whole kind of world. And then their children, James and Lucy and Cordelia and Matthew, that whole group, I do enjoy those ones a lot. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know how much I like the original cast. of Clary and Jace and Alex and Isabel. But I think I like these ones better. So it was nice finishing that up. Looking at my notes, what did I start afterwards? I started A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I've read that series before. It's good. It's mindless reading. I wouldn't say it's particularly like deep thinking. Definitely not a book to listen to with kids around. It does have some adult themes in there. But it's just something just to have going on. So enjoying that one. And then, my last book. So my birthday was this week. So I turned 34. Happy birthday to me. And my husband and I were talking the other day, and we realized that our kids don't see us reading books. We read a lot. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, but they don't see us doing it. And as we say all the time, kids are mimics. They're going to mimic what they see, and what they see is us on our phones. So we started family silent reading time. Our oldest is learning how to read. Our youngest is in preschool, so she's not reading yet. But we started that every night after dinner. We are going to have 10 minutes of everyone's going to sit on the couch and not talk and read a book. So we've done it a couple times. It's taking a little bit of an adjustment, but I think this will catch on soon, especially as my oldest like really grasps reading and starts to love it. And it also gives me a chance to I need to sit still and not move my hands and just hold a book and just read, which I don't do often anymore, even though I love literature and I love books. So this has been good so far. So for that kind of silent reading time, family SSR, I'm reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. So she wrote the Hunger Games series and Gregor the Overlander series. Or the Underlander? The Gregor series, which love the Hunger Games, love the Gregor series. So this one, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is kind of a prequel to the Hunger Games. So I had started it, but I have never finished it. So that's the book I'm reading right now. I'm only 3 pages in, but I like it so far. I will keep you updated on that one. That's probably going to be a long-term read, but that's okay. So that's the episode. Like I said, short and sweet, checking in. How you guys doing? I love to hear in the comments what you guys are reading. If you have any book suggestions, I'm always looking for new suggestions. If you prefer it in print versus audiobook. And then what are you working on? I have really enjoyed kind of hearing different projects and looking them up and putting them on my list of things to do. So love to hear what you guys are working on. So have a great day. How did I say I was going to sign off? Have a great day. I'm proud of your work and find ways to be kind. I will see you guys at the end of February, beginning of March. Okay, bye.